Hey, how y'all doing, man? Back with another video with Rashad the Great. Today's video will be about how to not crash out. And I think over the years, man, I learned to not crash out. The number one way that I learned not to crash out, again, y'all gonna get tired of me saying this, but it is what it is. Having a relationship with God. And every day I try to make God proud. I try to make God smile. And some days I do and some days I don't. It's being human. It's called growing, right? So I learned this ability not to crash out through my relationship with God and understand how God deals with certain situations. God, he sometimes flipped tables, but not because he was mad. He flipped tables because they were making a mockery. They were making the church into a marketplace. You understand what I'm saying? He cursed the fig tree because the fig tree wasn't living in its purpose. He had valid reasons for what he did. And sometimes you might have a valid reason. But like Michelle Obama said, when we go high, when they go low, we go high. You got to remain professional. And even in interviews, one of the main questions I always get, how would you handle an angry customer? How would you handle an angry coworker? And it's like, I worked for some big companies. I worked for Publix. I worked for Disney. I worked in customer service. I worked in retail. And with that being said, I learned how to have good customer service. Because at the end of the day, you there to service the customer and make as much money as you can. You're there to service the customer and to make as much money as you can. So you can't let the little personal stuff get to you. You can't let the attitudes get to you, bro. You gotta be untouchable, especially as a man. A man who can't control his emotions, they're gonna call you names. Just let's say they ain't gonna call you masculine. They're gonna call you the opposite. You know. So you gotta be able to handle your emotions. Half the people that's in jail is probably because they can't control their emotions, or because of maybe a drug possession or something like that. They can't handle their emotions, or they can't handle their stress. So they DUI, so they smoke XYZ. They can't handle their stress level, so they crash out. You know, they commit a crime. You know, they can't handle stress. You can't handle stress. You can't handle your emotions. You're going to end up dead or in jail quicker. And as a black man, statistically, on average, we live into our 60s. We live into our 60s